So, you've mastered the basics of prompting, and you've got your interface perfectly set up. But ChatGPT is capable of so much more than just sitting there as a static text window. Whether you're working on the go, collaborating with your team, or just want a more dynamic, interactive experience, you're ready to graduate to power user status. In this compilation, we're peeling back the layers on the features that turn ChatGPT from a simple chatbot into a real-time communication partner. We're going to walk through how to customize your audio experience. From changing the read aloud voice to managing voice controls on your desktop so the AI sounds exactly how you want it to. Plus, we'll tackle how to seamlessly share your best insights, manage shared links, and explore the practicalities of managing account access for your household. By the time we're done, you'll be utilizing ChatGPT not just as a tool, but as a full-featured assistant. It's time to stop just reading the text and start interacting with your AI on a whole new level. Let's dive in. Finding the right flow with an AI can be a total game changer. But sitting at your computer and listening to a voice that sounds nothing like what you want is a quick way to kill your productivity. You probably spend a lot of time looking at that chat interface. So why settle for a default setting that doesn't fit your vibe? It is time to dive into the settings and finally change ChatGPT voice on desktop so your AI assistant actually sounds like someone you want to talk to. You might think these customization options are buried or only available on your phone, but that is a common mistake that keeps people stuck with the same robotic tone for months. Ready to fix this? Open up your favorite browser and head over to chatgpt.com. Make sure you are signed into your account so all these changes actually stick to your profile. Now, look down at the bottom left corner of your screen and click on your account name. This opens up a small menu where you need to select Settings. Once that window pops up, stay on the General tab and look toward the bottom of the list. There it is, the Voice section. You can click the play button right there to hear what your current selection sounds like. If it isn't hitting the mark, just click that little drop-down menu on the right. You will see a list of different options like Breeze or Juniper. Go ahead and click through them, play the previews, and see which one feels right for your workflow. Once you pick one, you are all set. The next time you ask the AI to read a response aloud, it will use that brand new voice you just picked. Why does OpenAI even give us these choices? It is mostly because the way we process information changes based on the tone and pitch of the speaker. A voice that sounds too clinical might make you glaze over during a long technical explanation, while something warmer might help you stay engaged while you're brainstorming a new project. Having these options exists to help you personalize the experience, so the AI feels less like a cold machine and more like a tailored tool that fits your specific personality. Staring at a massive wall of text in ChatGPT feels like homework you never signed up for. You want the answers, but your eyes are already glazed over from scrolling through paragraphs of AI-generated prose. You need to know how to read aloud text in ChatGPT because your brain deserves a break from the screen. Most people just sit there, squinting at their monitors, completely unaware that there is a literal play button hidden in plain sight. It's a total waste of time to manually read through a 5-page summary when your computer or phone could be doing the heavy lifting for you while you grab a coffee. Go ahead and pull up that chat where the AI just dumped a long response. Move your mouse or your finger down to the very bottom of that specific text block. Look over toward the left-hand side, right next to the copy and dislike icons. You are looking for a small icon that looks like a speaker. This is the Read Aloud feature. Give that button a click, and the AI will immediately start speaking the words back to you in a voice that sounds surprisingly human. You might notice that the interface is a bit minimalist, but that is by design. Once the audio starts, you can usually see basic controls to stop the playback if you've heard enough. It will power through the entire response from start to finish without you having to lift a finger. If you've never noticed that icon before, don't feel bad. It's tucked away in a corner where your eyes usually skip over it as you move to the next prompt. Why does ChatGPT even have this? Well, OpenAI knows that reading digital text for hours causes major eye strain and mental fatigue. They built this because voice interaction makes the AI feel more like a collaborator and less like a search engine. Sometimes you just process information better when you hear it spoken. It's also a massive win for accessibility. If you're multitasking or if you have trouble focusing on tight lines of text, this little speaker icon is your best friend. You aren't stuck being a passive reader anymore. You can now turn any complex explanation or long-winded story into your own personal podcast with one click. Listening to a robot talk to you in a voice that sounds like a flat tire is a quick way to kill your productivity. You want to use the Read Aloud voice in ChatGPT to get through your reading list, but if that default narrator sounds like it's bored out of its mind, you probably find yourself hitting the stop button within seconds. It's a common hurdle when you're trying to turn ChatGPT into a personal podcast or an efficient study buddy. The good news is that you don't have to settle for a voice that grates on your nerves. To fix this, you need to head straight to the source of the sound. Open up your ChatGPT interface and look for your profile name or icon sitting in the bottom left or top right corner of the screen. Give that a click to pull up your personal menu. You'll see a few options there, but the one you're looking for is Settings. Once that window pops up, inside the General menu, you'll see a section called Voice with a drop-down menu. This is where the variety lives. You can click through options like Arbor, Breeze, Cove, or Ember to hear a preview of how they sound. Do you want something deep and authoritative? Or maybe a voice that sounds a bit more energetic and bright? Take your time and play each preview by clicking the small play icon next to the names. When you find the one that doesn't make you want to mute your computer, simply select it. There's no big save button you need to hunt for. The app registers your choice the moment you click the name. Now, go back to your main chat. Find a block of text you want to hear and look for that speaker icon. It usually sits right below the text. When you click it now, the AI will immediately start reading in that brand new voice you just picked.
Based on recent expert analyses and industry reports. Number 1. Artificial intelligence, AI, the core of tech progress.
This setting exists because OpenAI knows that one size fits all doesn't work for audio. Some frequencies are actually harder for the human ear to process over long periods, which is why a voice that sounds fine for a 10-second clip might become exhausting during a 10-minute article. By switching the voice, you're actually making the information easier for your brain to retain. You now have a ChatGPT that sounds exactly the way you want it to. You've moved past the default limitations and tailored the tool to fit your own ears. So, you've just spent the last 20 minutes engineering the perfect prompt, and the results from ChatGPT are nothing short of genius. Now you're stuck, because you want to send that brilliance to a friend or a colleague, but you definitely don't want to deal with the messy formatting of a copy-paste job. Sharing a chat in ChatGPT is the only way to keep the context intact, but if you don't know where the specific buttons are hidden, you're going to end up with a wall of ugly text in an email instead of a clean, interactive link. Let's fix that right now. Open up your ChatGPT interface and look at the conversation you want to send out. The most direct route is sitting right at the top of your screen. Look toward the upper right-hand side, right next to your profile icon. You'll see a Share button waiting for you there. Give that a click and a pop-up window will appear. This is your control center for the shared link. All you have to do is click the button to create the link, and suddenly you have a unique URL ready for the world. If you prefer navigating from your history, there's a second way to get this done. Look over at the left-hand sidebar where all your previous conversations live. Find the specific chat you're looking for and hover over it until you see 3 small dots. Click those dots and you'll see the Share option pop up again. Just like the first method, this opens that same window where you can generate your link. You can even send these straight to platforms like LinkedIn, Reddit, or X if you want to show off your AI collaboration to a bigger audience. Why does OpenAI make us go through this specific process instead of just letting us copy the URL from the browser bar? Well, the URL in your browser is tied to your specific account and session. If you just copy that and send it to someone, they'll hit a login wall or a 404 error because they don't have permission to view your private history. Creating a shareable link essentially makes a snapshot of that conversation at that exact moment in time. This protects your privacy while still letting you show off the specific output you generated. Now you have total control over how your work is viewed. You can pull that link, open it in a private window to see exactly what your recipient will see, and feel confident that the formatting stays perfect. You aren't just sending text anymore, you're sending a clean, readable version of your digital brainstorm. Ever feel like your digital workspace is becoming a graveyard of forgotten conversations? You know the feeling when you've generated a brilliant piece of code or a deep dive analysis in ChatGPT and sent it off into the world via a public link. But now you can't remember exactly what you shared or who has access to it? It's a common security blind spot that most people ignore until they realize they've left sensitive data floating around the web. You need a way to view shared links in ChatGPT before your private brainstorms become public records. Managing these links isn't just about organization, it's about digital hygiene. To get this sorted, start by opening your ChatGPT dashboard. Look toward the upper right-hand corner of your screen where your profile icon sits. Give that a click to open your account menu. From there, you want to navigate straight into the settings. This is where most people get lost because the menu looks like a maze of text, but you're looking for one specific tab labeled Data Control. Once you're in the Data Control section, keep an eye out for the option that says Shared Links. There is a small Manage button right next to it. When you click that, ChatGPT finally pulls back the curtain. You'll see a complete list of every single conversation you've ever turned into a URL. From this list, you can view the source to remind yourself what was in that chat, or you can hit that bin icon to instantly kill the link and revoke access. Why does OpenAI hide this so deep in the menus? It's because the platform prioritizes the flow of conversation over the management of data. Most users just generate and move on, so the developers tucked the administrative tools away to keep the interface clean. But this leads to the link bloat problem. You share a recipe with a friend, a project plan with a coworker, and suddenly you have a dozen active portals into your chat history. If you've never checked this menu, you'll probably find links from months ago that you totally forgot existed. It's a classic mistake to assume these links expire on their own. They don't. They stay live until you manually pull the plug. Now that you know exactly where this hidden control panel lives, you can audit your history in seconds and keep your workspace tight. You're no longer just shouting into the AI void. You're actually the one holding the keys to the library. Trying to manage a single ChatGPT login across multiple people is a recipe for a cluttered history and constant password resets. Yet, most people keep doing it because they think there isn't a better way. You probably want your household to benefit from the tech without everyone seeing your private work chats or accidentally deleting your best prompts. Adding a family member to your account is the specific trick you need to master to bring order to your digital home. To get this done, move your cursor down to the bottom left corner and click on your profile name. When the menu pops up, select Settings. Look for the Parental Controls section. This is where all the important happens. Once you're in there, click the button to add a family member. The screen will give you a few choices. You can designate someone as a parent, a guardian, or a child. Pick the one that fits. Now, type in the email address for the person you want to invite and hit send. They'll get an invitation in their inbox immediately. Once they click that link and accept, they are officially part of your account setup. This feature isn't about gaming the subscription system for free accounts, which is a common mistake people make. It exists because a shared AI space needs boundaries. OpenAI built this so you can oversee a child's access or share the platform with a partner while maintaining separate profiles. You get the peace of mind that comes with safety controls, and they get their own space to experiment. You might feel like you're losing a bit of privacy by linking accounts, but it actually creates more. Now, your personal history tab stays yours, and their homework or hobby projects stay on their side. You just turned a messy shared login into a professional family hub with about 2 minutes of work. You now have total control over how your family uses the most powerful tool on the planet. And that wraps up our Power User Deep Dive. We've covered everything from voice customization to teen-friendly sharing features, and I hope these tools help you get significantly more value out of your ChatGPT experience every single day. If you learned something new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on new features as they roll out. Which of these features are you going to use the most? Let me know in the comments. I'm always curious to see how you're integrating these tools into your daily workflow. If you're looking to get your workspace organized and secure, don't forget to check out my previous compilation, Privacy and Workspace Essentials, if you haven't seen it yet. Thanks for watching. Keep experimenting with those prompts, and I'll see you in the next one.